Well, that's a good question. I don't, man, it's hard to think any more globally than that. I mean, Nails, I think, became kind of one of the biggest industrial bands. Obviously not the first, obviously not the last, but if anything for the industrial scene, I think it allowed other bands to be able to get their shot. I mean, Spiral, man, I even hate kind of saying it, and I hope I just, because I'm friends with every band, but there was like Gravity Kills, Stabbing Westward, you had Filter, when Rich, branched out on his own from Nails, and a lot of bands, that a lot of bands that got to do their thing. I would they have ever done it, without like someone going, oh, well, we need our Nine Inch Nails or something like that? I don't know. I hate guessing those games. Everybody scrambled to try to get their Nirvana when Nirvana blew up. Anything that sounded grunge, or every band in Seattle got a record deal within 8 months. Hoping to get a piece of the pie. So who knows what it really did for the scene, but it did kind of open up what we're talking about, people's the understanding of like weird sounds and not being as ingrained into people's souls, emotionally. But I did think it allowed that kind of stuff to happen, because even today, like bands like Linkin Park, they're basically kind of just rock bands, and I think they're good when they write really catchy songs. But they always have some weird little distorted loop at the beginning, and there's always a weird little bridge with a distorted piano and a little drum machine. Like the sounds and the little influences and those little types of things are still peppered. Even Rihanna. I mean, look at pop singer Rihanna. I mean, I think she's great. She's got a little bit of that edge in some of her songs, and her look as well. It's a little more Marilyn Manson than maybe Nine Inch Nails, but I don't think she would maybe deny it either. So there's definitely been some things like the genre itself may not be as around much, in my opinion, anymore. It kind of got cannibalized into other things like Chemical Brothers and Prodigy, and then you have like Rob Zombie's stuff, which has the same thing. Like say, like Linkin Park has elements of that sort of sound and things like that. Even bands like Radiohead. I mean, I don't. If it weren't for some of the weird sounds of the '90s that we were doing and stuff, Kid A, which even for me that one took me off guard. It took me a while to understand that record sonically and musically and everything else, and it's one of my favorite records of all time now. But I can almost now understand, like, yeah, you can see where people have to learn to listen in new ways and things like that. So maybe it just allow people to listen in new ways. I mean, he took it and kind of, it was almost like Frankenstein's monster. You know what I mean? Like, he just took it and ran in a kind of a different direction, and obviously, his stuff always leaned a bit more metal and a bit more rock. Not like Trent's always leaned a bit more synth because he's a piano player by trade. So they definitely had their own divergent paths, but I mean he just took it more with the message and the lyrics, because he's one of the smartest people I've ever met and had the privilege to work with, and he just writes things that really can inflame a lot of people, but then make you think at the same time, and the fact that he just kind of became a lightning rod for anytime a kid would kill himself or anyone else, if that person had a black T-shirt on, oh, it must be Manson's fault, the whole Columbine thing, and just all that stuff, it's definitely he's taken a lot of heat for a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with him, really, and just is such a larger than life personality. There's very few rock stars left, in the world, and he's definitely one of them.